Hey, Crown Content Publications followers, viewers, and supporters. Thank you for tuning in to another segment with the Crown Content Publication Services family, where publishing and marketing simply finally meet. Okay, if you want to learn more about our services to assist freelancers, authors, and entrepreneurs just like you, visit my website, www.contentcrownpublications.com. We offer a variety of services from narration to graphic design to ghostwriting to formatting to editing. You don't want to miss out on what type of deals we're going to be sharing with you guys in 2022. So outside of my Crown Content Publications publishing and editing and book work, we also offer business consultations for self-starters and entrepreneurs who may need a little guidance. You don't have to be a self-starter to still need guidance, just because of how many shifts and changes there has been in society, in the economy lately. We totally understand anybody that calls us for our help. It's really not our business. Our job is to assist you and meet you where we can as far as publishing and marketing. And on that business consultation side, see what we can do for you, from the bookkeeping to the marketing strategies and things like this we may be able to help you with. So even website design, stuff like that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't miss out, because I've been here. Now, right now, I almost said something. I'm affordable because I understand it's a pandemic. But who around the world is not upping their prices eventually? Anyways, okay, so this segment title is Patterns and Cycles of Domestic Violence, and I'm going to say part 1, because there's no way I can cover such a topic in one segment. Okay, so when I say pattern, a lot of you guys think about, because when it comes to patterns and cycles, there's millions of them. When you're talking a subject like domestic violence, there's for example, there's the pattern of the woman who keeps returning to the abusive man. There's the pattern of the abusive man doing it to multiple women. And then there's the pattern of criminal justice systems not doing really everything they could be doing about these situations. Not just to prevent them. I think they've gotten so set on preventing these situations, keeping the abuser and the victim away from each other, that and preventing these situations as best as we can is great. But if you're not actually working with both individuals to where they can see that their colors need to change in general, so that woman, for example, is not getting with another abusive man, or so that man is not, attracting the type of vulnerable women that put him in a place to easily abuse her in the future, right? It's stupid. It's very, very stupid. Okay, let me see where I can. These were just examples of the type of cycles that do exist, and I was just giving my opinion right there on. Let's normalize not just preventing, and then if we're doing everything we can as a society to prevent domestic violence, and I'm not just talking about the abuse as that's another thing. Y'all think abuse is just physical? It's people out here being emotionally, spiritually, which I've already did my podcast segment on witchcraft manipulation. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I always leave my podcast link in the description section, and then if you like and subscribe to this channel, we have lots more of these type of conversations and topics coming. You know why? I'm a millennial. It's a new age. I see what I see, and I got to speak on it, because if I'm not on here, y'all, it's already a book cooking up about it. I gotta write the books about it. Okay, so you wanna check in with my websites weekly, because I do have updates on publications, not just from myself, Arthur Tedasheri, but for other authors that we have been working with. And when they're published, what we do is offer a special marketing deal for them to be able to market their books in our bookstore. Okay. Not just on our on our bookstore platforms, but also on our website, for example, on our podcast show, and right here. Okay, so the reason why you guys have not been hearing me announce books yet outside of The Shoe She Walked In, because that's my most recent self-publication. And if you are interested in reading The Shoe She Walked In, that was finally released in 2022, January 2022, check me out on Amazon. Type in Arthur Tedescherry, The Shoe She Walked In, leave me a review or leave me a comment on here. It doesn't matter. I appreciate all forms of support. Either way, when you leave me a review or when you purchase this ebook or visit my website, these are just ways that you can support Crown Content Publications as a whole, because even though I'm an author, we work with other authors. So back to my topic here. I want to talk about the patterns and the causes of these patterns. So I was talking about the different types of abuse: emotional, verbal, y'all know what I'm talking about, coercion, stuff like that. All of that is abuse. Like, some of y'all have picked up these very dirty traits and habits from grandma, mom, auntie, uncle. It doesn't matter who. And the stuff, what happens is it's passed down for so long. When somebody like me is born, I'm just using me for an example, and I can see or I feel like this heavy burden about things that people don't speak up about, but I notice is there. That's just like you seeing a ghost and nobody else sees it, but they're telling you you're crazy. The ghost is not there. The ghost is not there, and you're like, I clearly see it. So let's say you get to the point where you're tired of people denying the fact that the ghost is standing there, so you take a picture of it and you show them the picture, and they're like, oh there's really a ghost in the picture, and you're like, I've been trying to tell y'all. Okay, once again, what I talked about on my witchcraft manipulation segments, people was going to pay $20 million for movies like The Exorcism of Emily Rose and all these other exorcist possession demon movies. But when you try to talk about real life and how this stuff is real, people look at you like, we got to stop that. Okay? But this is why I say it needs to stop. I am tired of not just funerals, but hearing the news of another woman, another man. Actually, today's date, March 31st, 2022, and I just read an article about a young lady this time who killed the young father of their baby. And according to sources, this father was only 23 years old. So the young lady was a young lady too. But it wasn't the average norm man hurting the woman this time. It was the young lady who killed the baby daddy for whatever reason. Y'all go check that out. It's a young white couple. But I bring that up in example of what I'm tired of hearing, and I'm just gonna feel like a sucker, like a wimp, and I know I'm not either two or the one if I keep living my life not at least trying to create a platform where we are raising awareness about these type of things, because it's getting bad. It's only getting worse. And it doesn't matter what culture, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. Sex trafficking and domestic violence rates are higher than ever, and I don't know why. Kidnapping rates too. I don't know why, but what I do want to speak on is how on this part one segment of domestic violence patterns, the causes of the patterns. Number one, people not saying nothing. People turning their heads. People staying silent about either it happening to them or either something situation they notice. You know what we do today? We say, that ain't my business. I'm mind my business. But you don't want to mind your business when you need a GoFundMe for their funeral for their young lady who was killed by her ex or by her some jealous prick. You don't want people to mind their business when you're doing a march around your town or your city, asking for help to find your loved one who was kidnapped. You know. I'm not understanding. See, on those levels, then you want people to support you. Then you want people to contribute and talk about it on the news and stand in support and unity with you about your missing or hurt or worse, murdered loved one. Why do we wait till stuff gets to that level to support one another out here. In case you guys didn't know, because we're in the age of social media, technology and stuff like that anyway, there's millions of things to talk about today. The Ukraine-Russian war, COVID, vaccines, mask mandates, the economy, and how whether or not it's time that we start converting to cryptocurrency. These are the other topic conversations I probably will do on this segment soon. But today, my point is domestic violence pattern causes, or the causes of these patterns, are just as important as these other levels of topics that we are talking about in society today, okay? And I'm hoping, really, it's not my business what the Supreme Court Justice lady does, but this new lady, the black woman who's running, I would hope that she has it in her plans to also raise awareness, to put her foot down on these criminals that are coming to court to be tried on trial for these horrific crimes against women and children, against men, like the article I just said. Domestic violence altogether. Causes, back to causes, because I keep getting off. The patterns exist, yes. It's so late in society, everybody notices that. Like, the patterns are here. The evidence, the proof is here. It's all up and down, in and outside of society. When we talk about domestic violence, people do not obviously know the importance of boundaries. You guys check my website weekly. We're gonna have a new publication on there, ebook for order. Or email me at crowncontentpublications@aol.com. I can give you more details on pre-order information. But I have a book pending for release. I'm talking about within the next week, titled The Power of No, because I do believe, it says The Power of No guide, entry-level guide for the freelancer, or for the entrepreneur. That's the name of that book. It's going to say Arthur Tedasheri. It's going to be produced by Crown Publishing Content. It's going to read that on the cover. That's how you know it's me. Because we self-publish our own. I self-publish everything from my own business, okay? The point is, I feel like I need to raise awareness about the importance of boundaries. And then what I do in my book, I talk about how even setting boundaries is not the end of your dilemma. Boundaries actually, in an era like this, a society we live in today, is going to be the start of your real dilemma. Your job is not to fear, because until we start putting our foot down, things don't change. So not just setting boundaries. It's not the strangers in the world who can't respect your boundaries, because robberies, thefts, crime has been here for a long time. So some strangers hurt strangers, and that's not uncommon. What's uncommon today is that you have bloodline, family, friends, close relatives doing this to one another. If it's not true, what is the definition of domestic violence again? And it's not just family, guys, or it's that close related partner, the mother. Let me name some titles here. Because when we talk about domestic, it's somehow intertwined with your family life. So some of y'all are like, well, they gave me a domestic violence charge, but I slapped her. But I wasn't related to this young lady anyway. Well, see, you were that young lady's baby daddy's cousin. And once she said this in the report, in the police report, this became a domestic violence type of charge. And I do encourage everybody to go look up those laws in your state. Look up the rights in your state. You might these days, the shit is so normalized. Right? We just seen Will Smith slap Chris Rock on stage, okay? I hate to bring up that example. But the shit is so normalized, you might just want to go ahead and have a attorney on the back burner. Yep, a family case attorney, because you never know who's plotting what, who's starting up, cooking up shit in the duck pot, because regardless of why, what I'm touching on is the causes of how the patterns, not only how the patterns begin, but how the patterns continue, because nobody says or does anything about it. So we were talking about these characteristics, these traits, these internalized mental habits that are sometimes naturally passed down, or sometimes are just unconsciously programmed in a child, in a individual, because they hunt. Don't the saying say birds of a feather flock together? Don't the saying say that you hang around something long enough, you too become that? We don't want to believe that, do we? But see, if you hang around a bunch of people who tell you they hate purple ducks for 10 years, let's say you had no opinion on ducks at all. You could care less what color ducks are, okay? But you were around a group of people who just said they hated purple ducks for 10 years. What do you think? Even, let's say you and somebody in that sect or group, right? You break off, you grow into a new path in life. They might get mad at you about that. I'm trying to tell y'all, touch on the surface of how patterns and stuff like this begin, get started, fester, and nobody does anything about it. So yeah, you move on in life and they call you, hey Bill, we're still talking bad about purple ducks. You coming to the seminar next week? We want you to speak about it. You know how we feel about this. And then let's say Bill sets a boundary and he's like, look guys, I can give two fucks about how y'all feel about purple ducks anymore. I love you, but see, it's time that I set this boundary in my life. I don't want to hear shit else about purple ducks, because I might feel like that's wrong for y'all to just be biased about the fact that ducks are purple and they can't control it, right? This is an example of what I'm talking about. Witchcraft manipulation is probably going to be in part 2 of this segment about domestic violence causes and effects, or causes and cycles, or the causes of these cycles. Because see, I'm tired of people acting like you cannot. They'll tell you in domestic violence therapy classes, in seminars, that they might not call it witchcraft manipulation, but they definitely say that coercion and manipulation of the mind is very real. Any psychologist will tell you this. Any therapist will tell you this. So if we know that the power of controlling another person's mind, what their thinking process about a person, about a subject, about a specific topic is real, wouldn't we want to watch what we hang out with? Who we're hanging out with, how we're internalizing what we're hearing, even in the media. Like, wouldn't we want to look at that stuff? Because, they're already admitting that manipulation, coercion, all this type of stuff is real. What I don't respect are adults who sit here. Once again, this is kind of like a pattern behavior. Maybe even a unconscious learned behavior. They're doing it to their children and they don't know it. You're brainwashing your children in the way that grandma and dad them did it to you. That's weird. And you're doing it. It's so deep. It's so deep in your mental conscious. You're doing it without even knowing it. For example, you're teaching your kids to hate somebody. I've literally been through this. Not me hating my kid or teaching my kids to hate anybody, but people literally trying to brainwash my kids into hating their own mother. And my kids coming to tell me about how uncomfortable it made them feel. Number one, it probably wouldn't have made them feel uncomfortable if I was really some type of horrible monster out here, right? They would have easily been coerced into hating their mother. Okay, but see, they couldn't do mine like that because they start playing with a woman, kids who's actually been there since birth, who's actually been there through the rain, sleet, and snow, who actually emotionally checks on her children. And then everybody's form or definition of neglect is different. Their very definition of it. But I couldn't have been a neglectful mother. If my kids know that I'm there for them to tell me something made them feel uncomfortable, I'm doing a hell of a great job. And then no parent wants to hear I felt uncomfortable anyway. They don't want to hear their child talk about nothing they felt uncomfortable. But see, this is a world of imperfect people. You might have to hear your child say something made them uncomfortable these days, okay? Your job is to shield and protect them the most and the best you can through the bullshit that surrounds us, okay? Because they didn't ask to be here, but it is kind of your fault. You put them here. They're here. So you got to help navigate them through it. My point is, back again, a lot of the internalized emotions, thoughts, and feelings of mankind as we know it today is nothing but culturalistic, traditional family traits and behaviors that have been passed down to them, and that they are now trying to rub off on neighbors, rub off on people around them, rub off on people at work, rub off on whoever, because this is all they know. This is passed down into their psychological makeups. This is how they were raised. This is what they were taught. And this is the same for abusers. This is the same for narcissists. This is the same for, people who just, when they look in the mirror, they can be this small in real life, but every time they look in the mirror, they're this big. See, therapists have kind of fucked up some shit too, because what they did, they told you, you should be self-confident, you should be bold, you should believe in yourself, you should know that who you are no matter who thinks. They don't mean that in a negative way, guys. You got people like narcissists that hear that type of stuff and say, okay, well, I'm going to be the fucked up person I am. Even though they call me this and they call me a fucking, and I'm small. When I look in the mirror, I choose to see myself as this. I'm going to choose to, I'm this. And really they bad people the whole time. Y'all got to watch who you're encouraging. Ain't nothing wrong with encouraging nobody, but get to know people. Once again, I already did a segment on the importance of knowing your business network circle. This is not a business segment. This segment right here can help anybody, because we're talking about the patterns, the causes of the patterns of domestic violence cycles. But in your business networking circle too, you got to watch who you're doing business with, because see, these people, I talked about the shows, reality shows, for example, Mob Wives, Basketball Wives, all this type of stuff, where they're literally showing you all they do is sit around and talk about each other and find ways to set each other up and find ways to and these are millionaire dollar women. It's crazy. Bad Girls Club. So why wouldn't you think this is going on in your business networking circle? Because you're not a millionaire yet? You're wrong. It's happening. If you're not watching who you letting in, it's happening. It's happening. And then watch who you tell what. Watch. You know what I mean? Just watch. I'm just encouraging you guys. We can change DV pattern cycles as quick as we begin to observe. Shut up more and observe. Okay? Every parent coming on TV crying, talking about, my child came up me. Just observe. Because I've been observing, and I don't believe a lot of these Amber Alerts anymore. It's not that I don't believe that they're happening. What I don't believe is that all of these are fucking accidents. But we'll save this for another segment. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Observe. It's parents out here selling their own children because they're scared of being broke. They're scared of being hungry. They're scared of they resent their children that much. They wish they hadn't had them. So what does it hurt them? What does it hurt them to do these type of weird things? That's number one. And then as far as you fathers, when we started to have, since we're talking about patterns, when we started to have parents have babies, let me tell y'all some dangerous weird shit that began to happen when y'all started having children out of wedlock. Yeah, when we started having babies out of wedlock and this stuff became normalized, what this did, long story short, you got dads walking out on the children, on the moms and stuff. Y'all do what y'all do. We don't care. Then they got the nerve to complain about being legally responsible when they go to court for child support and things, which is still stupid to me. So what this did is left women and children in a position to either move forward with their lives with a new man and stuff like this, which this does happen. But see, the thing with the new man who is not biologically the father of children, he has nothing to lose when he abuses that woman or that child, does he? Because it's not his child. Think about it, y'all. Regardless of how there's some good men out here that have raised stepchildren. I'm a witness. There's some good men out here that have raised stepchildren and they've been phenomenal at it. But the other percentage is where we're seeing domestic violence rates so high, where we're seeing all these murders of women and children so high. Number one, the man that was in the household that she was trusting was not even the biological dad to the kids she had. In some situations, they might have one together. But it's always, when you begin to blend families, there's always going to be this child or two who is not the biological child of the man in the house. You know why this began to happen? Because people were just, I don't know, people fornicate, people get together, They have sex, they get pregnant, they have these babies, and then you got men. Once the men stop committing, not to the women, to their children, you are now opening doors for other weirdos, wolves, and men to come in and do whatever to your children because you hate the mom so much, because you hated her family so much. These type of reasons we got to get better at. These should never be reasons that you are no longer, like, literally emotionally, physically checking on your children anymore. Men, you got to do better. This is part 1, y'all. I'm finna jump back on and do a part 2. Thank you for tuning in so far.